you for joining us for this CBS 8 special. I'm your host, Kirsten Holmes. We all know San Diego is a military town, and here at CBS 8, we value the service and the commitment of those who put on the uniform. So over the next few minutes, we want to show our appreciation by telling some of the incredible stories that were shared with us on Honor Flight San Diego. If you've never heard of them before, this is a local nonprofit that escorts veterans on the trip of a lifetime to Washington, D.C. Men and women who served in Vietnam, the Korean War, and as far back as World War II are flown to visit their memorials. For some, it's their first time. I'm honored to be invited on the first all-Vietnam veteran flight. Here's a look back at some of the powerful moments when we arrived to Arlington National Cemetery.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. Forward! March! Guards! Halt! Halt! Arms! Hands on your orders.
Both and orders. Remain as directed. Orders acknowledged.
Forward! Reset! Out!
Now for context, the Seawolves are the most decorated of the naval units in the Vietnam War and in naval aviation history. More than 2,500 men served, and sadly, 44 of those men were killed. While we were in D.C., CBS 8's photojournalist Chris Vega, he was there to capture an incredible moment.
When I was here reading names in 2012 at the wall, I didn't get to come over here because of time constraints. This is the first time I've seen this. And I am beyond impressed that Task Force 116 was what we are. Here we are, in the flesh, in front of something that everybody in the world that goes by here can see. And the big problem about that is the lack of knowledge of who and what we were. Because everybody knows about the PBRs and everybody knows about the SEALs. That's great. But nobody knows about the Seawolves because we were commissioned and decommissioned in Vietnam. We don't have a home base in the United States. We have our medal, we have constraints on medal awards due to the fixed wing and rotary wing departments because we were not commissioned in the United States and have a home base, that we didn't meet their requirements. What we were looking for is to see if there was actually a Navy on the tail boom and to see if there was possibly engraved a little 321, which is one of our most famous helicopters.
Oh, okay.
But there's no designation. We have our Seawolves in the air We have our PBRs, swift boats, and these are the guys that were on board the PBRs doing their thing. I'm not sure about laying down. We told them to get down below the canopy because we were coming in hot, raining hot brass down on them. After we de-roast and come back to the world, we all went our different ways. And for years and years and years, we never talked about what we did. But we come back in the heights of the protests, and I came back, my hair was down on my collar, I had patchy beard, not like I got now, but you know, flip-flops and Levi's, and torn and patched if possible, so we would blend in. And it was not a happy thing. But 50 years later, plus, people are beginning to know who we are, and the respect that we're getting now is, well, you can tell.
Let me have a hug, please, please. Are we here now, though?
Yeah. Give me yours. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
When I first found out that there was an honor flight out of San Diego that was going to be just us, I was one of the first 10 to put in my application. And once I knew that my application was in and I was in for the flight, I got on Facebook and I posted Honor Flight San Diego Seawolves everywhere. I mean, it was almost a daily task for me to get on and do my best to find different guys that maybe hadn't heard. I went on Instagram, I went on a few of the other medias just to get that message out there that we, the Unknown Squadron, are being honored. And you have to excuse me, but this is emotionally draining.
God bless the Seawolves!
Words don't do justice to how I feel about this whole situation and this whole event. I am really eternally grateful.
Welcome home.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I say that.
Good job, brother.
And I say that, and I know for every one of my Seawolf brothers.
We're so happy we can do it for you guys. And the fact that you met up with your bed buddy.
For some of these heroes, going to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was the central focus of the trip. The land is hallowed ground to them. We not only saw the emotion of the visit with our own eyes, but we could nearly feel it. Just see for yourself.
For me, this has been 51 and a half years in the making. As with many of us when we came back from Vietnam, it was a different era. And this was a time to finally thank us for the service that we performed and gave to our country.
Jim Church was a helicopter pilot in the Vietnam War. He is just one of 85 Vietnam War veterans with Honor Flight San Diego.
That's the first time I've been to the memorial. And I've been in Washington, D.C. many, many times. And I just wasn't ready to go. And this honor flight has given me the opportunity to finally go and visit 10 names that I knew I would find on that wall. And find those brothers that served with me and pay my respects to them. And I, as a veteran, have to also wonder, how is it that I didn't end up there also? And by the grace of God, I didn't.
His older brother and I were roommates going through Navy flight school together, and we were best friends. And we both loved being Navy pilots, and we both volunteered for Vietnam.
Seawolves, hand salute!
Jim went out for a night flight, and they got caught up in a monsoon thunderstorm one night. They notified the family, and the family requested that I escort the remains back to Detroit.
Bob Britz was also a pilot in the Navy during Vietnam. He joined his best friend, ENS James F. Burke Jr.'s family for their flag presentation near the Vietnam War Veterans Memorial decades after attending Burke's funeral.
While I was there, I looked over, and here was this young boy. He was about 5 years old, and he was crying, totally confused. And I needed a breather, so I walked over to him and I said, "I know how you feel."
Years later, that little boy gave Bob a call.
"I don't think you remember me, but I was that 5-year-old boy." It was amazing, amazing. So to see him now, it's kind of puts a final touch on everything.
This is the first all-Vietnam honor flight for Bob, Jim, and the 83 other veterans with Honor Flight San Diego. There are countless stories to tell, and other stories, for some, too difficult to revisit.
You think after 20 years or after 25 years that you come to grips with it and you move on. It's not that easy.
CBS 8 has been a part of a number of honor flights, and each trip feels just as magical and emotional as the first. Just ask our own Jeff Zeverly and photojournalist Scott Hall. Both followed along as 85 veterans completed their 3-day trip to Washington, D.C. They called it a life-changing experience for everyone on board.
The honor flight is called a tour of honor because it's 3 days where the heroes come first.
Honor flight! Honor flight!
On the honor flight to the nation's capital just after takeoff.
Honor flight! You have lots of fans here.
Mail Call delivers nearly 5,000 letters of love.
Thank you for your time, bravery, and service.
101-year-old Army pilot Dudley Gladding was the oldest honor flight veteran.
I had 40 missions over the Philippines.
Dudley failed to mention the enemy shot him down on his 31st mission, but that's the humility of a hero.
I can't see that well. I got glaucoma.
As 85 veterans dug into their mail,
Want me to read one to you?
I would like to.
Okay.
Andy Bowman never expected to be thanked by a stranger.
You have given so much for this country. How's it feel to get that letter?
It feels good, and I won't be able to see what the monument says, but I can, vision what it says.
In Washington, Americans lined up to honor the greatest generation.
Means the world. It just brings back all those memories.
Pete Mayfield watched his Marines raise the victory flag at Iwo Jima.
Hallelujah.
Near the Tomb of the Unknown, fields filled with those who didn't make it home.
I look at those tombstones out there and I think I'm just one of the lucky guys.
Roy Grigsby fought in Korea at a time when, back at home, they told him,
"Go to the back of the bus. You're supposed to go to the back. You cannot sit in the front. Go to the back."
These stories of sacrifice and valor came from veterans who made this trip for their comrades who couldn't.
I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of buddies. Well, I'm alive. That's the big thing.
100-year-old Pete Sanzo stormed the beaches of Normandy.
I was lucky to go and come back.
Frank Corona survived Korea, and like so many others, put himself in harm's way.
This note is about you.
Vietnam veteran Jack Gauthier is dying from cancer.
I'm so happy you.
But your gratitude makes him feel alive.
I love everybody.
These are the veterans.
And I'm going to stick around as long as I can.
Who fought for freedom.
I knew what I was fighting for.
This whole thing has been surreal.
It's great to be alive, to be a veteran.
I would not have missed it for the world.
I get emotional.
I think all of San Diego is waiting for you. Take a look.
Oh my goodness.
At a hero's homecoming,
I'm going to cry.
the men and women,
Hey, Scott.
once met by bullets, ambushed, by appreciation.
When you came home from war, what kind of reception did you receive?
I didn't get no reception, none at all. But it's all here. It's all here. America, about this country, and it's great to be part of our country. All
Each veteran on this trip can share a lifetime's worth of stories, from tales of resilience and fortitude to tales of tragic loss and pain. For CBS 8's Abby Alford and photojournalist Mike Edison, it was a living history lesson as they traveled with 84 World War II and Korean War vets on their honor flight. They say it was a trip that left them in awe.
"39 World War II and 44 Korean War veterans on the honor flight to Washington, D.C. to visit their war memorials and monuments.
Fred Campbell, mail call.
On the flight, veterans opened 4,200 letters written by local students and loved ones.
These last 35 years that we've been together have been the best of my adult life.
Saturday morning after the sun rose, Patriot riders and park police escorted the veterans to the World War II memorial.
Very sobering to see the memorials. And it's a lifetime experience.
The 4,048 gold stars on the Wall of Freedom reflecting off the water, representing the 408,399 people who died in the second deadliest war to the Civil War.
I was 14 years old. I cried every day for these people. And I'm still crying for the people who sacrificed their lives.
Oh, what? Oh.
Veterans watch in stillness at the Tomb of the Unknown.
Made you think about all the poor souls who were lost.
Chilling memories at the Korean War Memorial.
We lost 53,000 guys.
Marine Joe Kahlo survived the Chosin Reservoir, one of the fiercest battles in Marine history, surrounded by hundreds of thousands of Chinese forces in 60 below temperatures for more than 2 weeks.
We're all going to come out together or we're not coming out at all. Dead and wounded.
World War II Marine John Menard also served in Vietnam and received a Purple Heart. He was shot and injured in his eye. The only female on the trip and one of the first naval officers, Dean Suey, on a flight of a lifetime.
I don't consider myself a hero or anything like that. I just did what I was supposed to do, and that was it.
And this time, these veterans received their homecoming they've always deserved.
Look at all these folks! Woo!
And grateful to see the war through their eyes, the faces of courage.
It really makes you feel proud.
It's important to note why our veterans are held to such high regard, not just for the bravery of fighting in war, but the incredible amount of sacrifices they've endured to uphold the freedoms that you and I enjoy every single day. A lot of them didn't get the thank you that they deserve. But this is what makes mail call one of the most unforgettable parts of the Honor Flight San Diego. Jess, Abby, and myself, we all saw firsthand how veterans immediately lit up when seeing a little gratitude from those they served and protected.
You guys in the fight crews went in harm's way to protect us, and many of you made the ultimate sacrifice.
Emotions ran high for these 85 Vietnam vets who received 4,400 thank yous decades after they risked their lives.
As a high schooler, it's sometimes difficult to appreciate what you have done.
Thank yous from friends, family, complete strangers, and comrades for their bravery.
The SEALs didn't depend on anyone except themselves, but they could depend on the Wolves. We did our country proud, whether they knew it or not at all.
I strongly agree that you and many others who served our nation's military deserve every honor available. I'm very glad to be in your family in the short time I have been, love all of you.
We're on the Tour of Honor, the first 2019 honor flight with 83 World War II and Korean War veterans. Well, you guys thought it was pretty special when you thought the plane was decorated, but it keeps building with mail call.
Giving this to you because you saved us. Got a little teary-eyed on that one.
We're on the Honor Flight San Diego with 38 World War II veterans.
Brings a tear to my eye. To be called a hero.
You see the plane light up with smiles on the Honor Flight, which raises money to send veterans from the greatest generation and the forgotten war.
Young people would write things like that. Just amazing.
Letters written from his World War I father to his wife are read.
The letters are dated 1918.
Some of the veterans don't cry till they open these letters from family.
Some of the things that have always attracted me to you are your honesty, integrity, patriotism.
This Korean War veteran married to his wife for 35 years.
I've just never seen those words or heard those words before in that way.
A mail call our heroes have always deserved.
I don't think I'll ever forget this.
The last time these veterans took a flight like this traveling east, they were on their way to fight in World War II.
Thank you for your time, bravery, and service.
Army pilot Dudley Gladding, age 101, the oldest veteran taking the honor flight.
You have lots of fans here.
This year's special delivery comes with stacks of 4,000 letters. Some from loved ones.
I knew what I was fighting for.
Some from strangers.
From a little guy.
But every letter from an American thankful for the veteran's service.
Thank you for your service and for our freedom.
Navy Corpsman Aneen Jack, age 87, the only female veteran on the honor flight.
This whole thing has been surreal.
This journey costs $250,000 to pull off. But whatever portion of that expense the veterans could have owed was already paid for in full by their sacrifice.
Another special element of Honor Flight San Diego, it comes at no cost to our veterans. It's paid for by donations from those who want our heroes to get a renewed sense of pride. And it's not just possible because of those donations, but because of hours dedicated by generous volunteers of the nonprofit. CBS 8's Abby Alford introduces us to some of those guardians.
As 83 war veterans load an honor flight charter plane, one of the team leaders, the longest serving, a military daughter and wife, Mel Titano, reflects on the unforgettable experience.
Every time I leave the flight, my heart is always full.
Honor Flight flies World War II and Korean War veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit their memorials. Since the memorial for the greatest generation wasn't built until 2004, many were not able to pay tribute. The Department of Veteran Affairs says of the 16 million Americans who fought in the war, fewer than 400,000 are still alive.
We really have to get the word out. We really have to get these World War II veterans. Time is of the essence.
There are 141 honor flight hubs across the nation. Dave Smith started San Diego's in 2010 after taking his late World War II father on a lone flight. They've flown 1,400 veterans since. The $250,000 trip is paid through all donations. Veterans don't pay a dime and all run through a team of volunteers.
The people, their service, it is one way that we can give back to those that gave so much to us.
The veterans are medically cleared for the packed 3-day trip, mail call, World War II, Korean War memorials, and many more, and a flight home to an unforgettable homecoming. News 8 was embedded and it appeared seamless.
Yeah, he's been probably the biggest inspiration. He did what he did.
Guardians can be as young as 18 years old, like Ryan Ruff, who escorted his Purple Heart grandfather. To experience it with younger generations and veterans, spouses are deterred. This is former San Diego Police Chief Shelley Zimmerman's first year as a Guardian. Her late father fought in World War II. She used to line up at the airport for the homecoming in uniform.
With the hugs and the laughter and the tears and the stories that they're telling. And it's just, quite frankly, it's just so wonderful to have this opportunity to listen to them.
This is a trip of a lifetime for America's heroes and everyone they meet along the way.
If you ever need to know what the face of courage looks like, just look around the room.
God bless each and every one of you. God bless America.
Whether you're a veteran that wants to take the trip or you're interested in becoming a guardian, Honor Flight San Diego is always looking for new people to take on this life-changing experience. For more information on how to get involved, visit honorflightsandiego.org/join-us.
The opportunity to honor the brave men and women who served our country shrinks by the day. World War II started in 1939. The Korean and Vietnam War, they both started in the 1950s. Now, this seems like a lifetime ago, but some of these veterans are still with us. It's why the work of Honor Flight San Diego is so valuable. It's not just to create new memories, but to remember that America is the home of the free because of the brave. We thank our heroes for their service. I'm Kirsten Holmes. Thank you for watching.